Well, if you've been working hard through your life and contributing to superannuation, you're looking towards retirement and all the exciting things that you might do, doing a bit of travel and a little bit of extra leisure time activity, there comes a challenge when you've had access to your superannuation as to what you might do with that. But there are some different challenges that you may face beyond retirement, and one of those could be, what about returning to work, and how do things work when it comes to our finances? Gavin Martin is the Managing Director and Financial Advisor of Cornerstone Wealth. Let's talk about the technical aspects of retirement and superannuation. Gavin, welcome back to 2020.
Oh, g'day Neil, great to be with you again.
Gavin, in the scenario of retiring and having that access to your superannuation, perhaps you're paying off your mortgage, you're doing a bit of travelling. What about the situation that you spend a few dollars, you have a bit of downtime, and then you realise that you really have got some more desire to continue work? What happens with your whole financial position and how you manage that?
Yeah, that's a common question, Neil. Often people, when they reach their preservation age, which is the age at which they can access their superannuation money, it's currently 55 years of age. So if you're born before 30th of June 1960, your preservation age, the age at which you can access your super, is 55 years of age. And so people often retire at that point in time, and they don't have any real intention of going back to the workforce, and therefore they can pull out the whole superannuation balance, and often they use that to pay down their mortgage or perhaps do some travel or do some other things. But then there comes a point in time whether they've either run out of money or they just have been offered an employment contract or some opportunity that they can't pass up, and they think about going back to work again, and they're a bit concerned that, am I allowed to do that? I've taken my super money, I've said I've retired, can I actually go back to work? And it's pretty simple. The answer is yes. Even though you've accessed your superannuation money, you can return to work. There's no reason why you can't return to work. What will happen there is that the money that you've already gained access to through your previous retirement, it will still remain eligible for you. It will be what we call unrestricted non-preserved, but then the money that you're getting as part of your employment arrangement into the future, that won't be you won't be eligible to touch that until you reach either another condition of release after that. So important to understand that you can return to work after accessing your superannuation money.
That's right, because you could have all sorts of ethical questions about whether you're doing the right thing. What you're saying is, yes, it depends on your age when you entered the workforce and that eligible time to access those super funds. What about when you're beyond the age of 65 or coming up 67? What happens to your contributions to superannuation when you're already above those ages?
Yeah, there was recent changes so that there was no limitation on the age at which your employer should make superannuation guarantee contributions. Previously, there was a limit, and so if you're over a certain age, your employer didn't actually have to pay superannuation guarantee. But now that's changed, that if you're working, no matter how old you are, you need those superannuation guarantee payments made. But if you have reached 65 or in a few years 67, you'll be eligible for the age pension. So if you work beyond that age, you'll still get the benefit of your income and you'll get the benefit of the superannuation guarantee, but you won't be getting the age pension potentially, or you might get a part pension depending on how much you are working. But just to reiterate, that if you wanted to get access to your superannuation money over the age of 55, if you are not yet 60, you have to actually say that you intend at that point in time not to return to the workforce again. So it's okay to retire, intend not to return to the workforce, access your superannuation money, but then if at some point in time in the future do want to return to the workforce, you can go and do that. But at the time that you make the declaration, it needs to be your intention that you don't go back, that you're not going back to the workforce.
Gavin, that retirement money needs to last a long time, and we these days are living longer than before, and if you retire at age 55, and the possibility that you might live on another 30, 40, even potentially 50 years, well, that retirement payout isn't going to be much when those years start to pass by. So this sort of scenario we're talking about, returning to work, returning to some form of income stream from what you're outputting work-wise is going to be a common scenario, isn't it?
It is. You've hit the nail on the head, Neil. The sooner or the earlier you retire, the longer you need, or the more funds you need to support your retirement. And as you say, it could be 40, 50 years that you live if you're retiring at 55 years of age. I did some projections recently, and part of those projections was how much money would you need to live on if you wanted to live on what we call a comfortable retirement. And generally the comfortable retirement at the moment is about $55,000 for a couple. So I made a little bit more conservative than that, and I said, well, let's say we live on $50,000, we're a couple, and we retire at our pension age of the current pension age, the age at which you can get some government pension, is 65. If you were to retire now and you were 55 years of age, the age at which you can access the age pension is 67. Now, to support yourself, because you're not getting any age pension between 55 and 67, you'll need an additional $300,000 over and above what you would otherwise need if you retired at age pension age to support yourself, because you're totally self-sufficient. You're totally supporting yourself. You'll get no government support during that period from 55 to your age pension age. So I just on that example that I used, it was an extra $300,000 that you would need to support yourself.
Interestingly, when we're talking about this topic, Gavin, when it comes to these sorts of issues of retirement and superannuation, sometimes you could think that the people most interested in this are people approaching retirement or in retirement, but really the people who need to hear this most, it seems to me, are young people who might be thinking of their financial future in their younger years, perhaps back to as early as your 20s and into your 30s, where these sorts of issues could become very important for your future. Yes,
exactly. The earlier you start, the better your situation will be. But it's never too late to start. I often have people contact me and say, oh, we're a few years from retirement, we don't feel as though we've got enough. Is it too late to start? No, it's never too late to start, but the earlier you do start, the better it is. The challenge for the younger person is the focus really should be to pay down debt, pay down the mortgage, and then start to think about retirement savings. But it is good, I guess, with the government increasing the superannuation guarantee contributions to 12%, that will mean that they'll automatically be increasing the amount of superannuation they save. I think over time, as we've seen in the last couple of years, the age at which we get access to the government age pension has increased, or over the next few years, it's increasing from 65 to 67. I think that's a trend that we'll see again. That will probably increase again until the point in time that young people today won't be able to access the age pension until 70 or so. But yeah, so we'll see those changes as our longevity continues to increase.
And this is certainly one of those topics where getting some professional financial advice is going to be a key in being confident about the decisions that you might make when it comes to your future retirement. And so we'd encourage listeners to not take every bit of information here. It might not account for your personal objectives, financial situation and your needs, so seeking some professional financial advice will be important. Gavin Martin is the Managing Director and Financial Advisor for Cornerstone Wealth. There will be a link to Gavin's website on our 2020 page at vision.org.au. Gavin Martin, always a pleasure. Thanks for being with us today on 2020.
Thank you, Neil. Great to be with you again.